The Formula One world has been really surprised by the newest rumor about Max Verstappen possibly moving to Mercedes. It looks like there are some good reasons why this might actually happen. After all the drama at Red Bull, Max's dad Joe's has been talking publicly about how Christian Horner is making the team a bad place to work. Helmut Marko's comments are making things even worse. Toto Wolff, who runs Mercedes, has said good things about having Max on his team starting in 2025. But is Max really going to Mercedes? And if he does, what will Red Bull have to pay starting in 2026? This is especially important because Ford has a big say in the partnership that hasn't started yet. Max Verstappen has been strongly connected to Mercedes in the past few days. Even though all of this is just a rumor, there are lots of statements that support this actually happening. We do agree with what most people think, that Max has no reason to leave Red Bull since they're winning everything. But his father Joe's feels like the way Red Bull is run by Christian Horner has been really hurting the situation his son is in. On top of that, it seems like there's a special part in Max's contract with Red Bull that lets him leave the team anytime he wants if he feels uncomfortable or if he's not winning anymore. According to Joe's statements, the first reason has already happened. The close group of Joe's friends have already told the media that Max could leave Red Bull starting in 2025. The best team to get him would be Mercedes, of course. The person who has a lot to say about this, besides Joe's Verstappen, is Helmut Marko. He explained that the investigations inside Red Bull are finished. He said he won't say anything more about it, but as far as he's concerned, he won't stop Max if he decides to leave. This is a very serious statement because Marko himself admitted that he's not completely sure that Max will stay at Red Bull from 2025 onwards. Even winning easily in Bahrain couldn't keep people from talking about the Austrian team. It seems like until Horner leaves the team, nothing will be the same. The pressure inside the team will keep getting worse and worse, which Joe said could break the team apart. Obviously, Horner being found not guilty of the things people accused him of has definitely made some people at Red Bull angry. From the latest statements, it looks like the Verstappen family and Helmut Marko are on that angry side of the team. Joe's statements have made a lot of people in the racing world raise their eyebrows. From talking about tactics back in Monaco 2022 to saying that Horner is not the right man for the job he's doing, which goes way beyond being just a team leader since he's also the CEO of Red Bull Racing. Joe's may have gone too far. Talking more about this, the father of the three-time world champion added that there is tension here. While Horner stays in his job, the team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't continue the way it is, it will explode. He is acting like the victim when he's the one causing the problems. These statements from Joe's and Marko have a very strong meaning. If you remember correctly, Max has been said to only trust two people in racing, his father and the experienced Austrian who brought him into the sport in the first place. To make things worse, it seems like Max is not really eager to defend his team boss when reporters ask him about it. When asked about his father's comments, the Dutch driver also chose to stay quiet and let everything happen by itself. There is a real power change happening at Red Bull, but the team has a lot to lose here. Not just because Max could leave the team, but also because the Austrian team is on a path with a possible partnership with Ford. This is something that the American company might already regret. There is a report that Ford is already looking for a way out of their contract with Red Bull. This could have been predicted because Jim Farley, the CEO of the company, has been really offended that the Austrian brand kept everything a huge secret from them when it comes to the investigation about Christian Horner. A very important statement that needs to be mentioned comes from Toto Wolff, who talked about the next driver for Mercedes, especially Max Verstappen. While many would think that this is an impossible situation considering how the teams are ranked right now, the Austrian refused to say no to it. He said that anything is possible when it comes to the driver replacing Hamilton. He added more by saying he's not in a hurry for them to make a decision on drivers. He's been rushed and hurried by Lewis, so this time around he's going to take it easy and look at all the options. He thinks the driver will always choose the fastest car. That is basically what it's all about. Right now the Red Bull is the fastest car, so that will obviously be their first choice. But nothing is impossible to top that off. It seems like important engineers like Pierre Watch and Adrian Newey have special parts in their contracts too. If Max were to leave the team before 2028 and use his own special contract part, they would very likely see a huge challenge in turning Mercedes into a very competitive team. If they were to take on the challenge and win a championship with Max as soon as possible, quite strangely, if Max manages to win a championship on his first try at Mercedes in 2025, which can only happen if he joins the team in the first place, it would be a huge embarrassment for Hamilton. Hamilton has struggled to do the same for what seems to be the third year in a row. But let's not think that far ahead and see whether the situation that Red Bull is currently in has enough earthquake power to shake the team to its core. As all things stand, there are already two sides formed in Red Bull. Looking at the comments made by Marco and Joes, there's only one outcome that would make them happy: Christian Horner being kicked out of the team. But they might have tried to do more than they can handle. They want the man who won 13 championships combined with Red Bull and has been there since day one all the way back in 2005, to leave just because they're not on the same side and do not share the same interests. If you think about it, no matter how good Max is and how good of a car he has, thinking that he could be more important than the team is definitely a bit of a selfish way to think about yourself. Max could be paying the biggest price if he joins Mercedes, because the Silver Arrows have been struggling quite a lot in the past couple of years to build a competitive car. But the 2026 rule changes are right around the corner, and they are all about engine performance and electric power. This is the main reason why Red Bull signed the partnership with Ford. However, even with their own knowledge borrowed from Honda and put into the Red Bull engine program, it seems like they still don't have enough experience when it comes to competing with Ferrari and Mercedes in this area. So looking at the latest pressure being put on by Jos Verstappen, it's clear that Max could find himself a new home from 2025 onwards. After all, we're talking about one of the most winning drivers on the track and one that has been able to adapt to any car given to him in the past couple of years. If we were to watch the best moments from the past couple of seasons, even though you give a lot of credit to the car, it's Max who's been able to get the maximum out of it and make it so winning. As a perfect opposite, you have Sergio Perez. Be that as it may, Red Bull have everything in their hands. If they choose to pick another driver instead of Max Verstappen, they would very likely enter rebuilding mode, because this possible move would bring a huge group of engineers along with Max. Adrian Newey is the loudest name rumored in the racing world to leave the Austrian team if the three-time world champion is not there anymore. Ford's increased worries about the Red Bull situation could definitely mess up their relationship, and that's something that the Austrian team doesn't need right now. Even though Hamilton leaving for Ferrari might suggest otherwise, the situation is looking much better at the Silver Arrows as well as at Ferrari. So the 2026 team rankings do have the potential to be all changed up from what we're currently seeing. With all of this in mind, the power shift in Red Bull does have the potential to ruin a lot of relationships. With Ford already looking for a way out of their partnership with Red Bull, the Austrian team has started to suffer the consequences of their own actions. The accusations have done nothing but damage to them because they've tried to ruin the reputation of the man who has done nothing but bring success to the team. Doing it in such an embarrassing way has definitely shown the dark side of being a small piece in such a huge game played in the background. Do you think Max could really replace Hamilton at Mercedes? And if so, do you think that Red Bull would completely fall apart if this happens? Let us know in the comments below.